Let's just hop right to it, huh? We got some Abzan human company here this morning. So Black-White Humans is something that we've played on the stream before, but this build is splashing green for some collected companies as well as some Yasharns out of the sideboard. Because this build is playing collected company, it's got slightly more 3-drops in it. With the very control-heavy format that Historic is right now, we've got Kitesail Freebooter in addition to Elite Spellbinder as Disruption for the hand. We've got 4 copies of Thalia. We've got 4 Esper Sentinels. So this list finished in the top 4 of the last SCG Historic tournament. Made a couple of very small changes to it, but nothing major. And I think this deck seems like it is well-positioned and well set up for the control environment that Historic is at the moment. So let's go ahead and jump on into some games with this and see how it feels. What's going on, Risu? Kazoo Croc, thanks for the brand new Prime. Welcome to the channel this morning. Good morning, good morning. Fixer Shiss, thanks for the 2.5 years. Morning, Cricket, thanks for the 33 months. So, hand's missing a black source, but any third, if we hit 3rd land, 4th land on curve here, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. Nice. Okay. And hey, look, turn 1 Jeskai Triumph, chat. Are they not playing Dwarven Mine? They must not be with those keeps, right? All right, let's just get Luminarch pumping up the Esper Sentinel here, because remember, the amount of extra mana my opponent has to pay is equal to this thing's attack, so. Although we might see land Helix the Sentinel here, but that's fine. We'll get to draw a card, which should put us into our next land for Collected Company. Thanks for the follow, Mark. Put a counter on Spellbinder this time, just kind of spreading out the love. Drop Thalia here to continue taxing them. Obviously, this puts us further off Collected Company, but if they're taxed, we don't really need Collected Company ASAP. Definitely feeling our mana here a little bit. No, I don't really play in Magic tournaments. We host Magic tournaments on occasion, but I grab Giant Killer here. Gives us insulation against them comboing us. Do we sack it upkeep? No. This card, the sack on this is like not great yet. Like you use it when you know it's going to be good, just like firing it off willy-nilly instead of having pressure is not good. Like, you should basically only use it to stop a sweeper if you know you're going to have lethal the following turn. Alright, so a untapped black source is lethal here. Is that also lethal? Just gives us 4... Gosh, that's shy of being lethal, huh? It does force a chump block, though. And now this is a spot where I think we upkeep sack. Now they're dead on board and we have 3 lethal threats. So we'll let this trigger resolve so they don't know that this is happening when they make their decision with this. No non-creature spells for them this turn. And we even beat a single lightning helix next turn, which is great. Alright, so Reidane is lovely here. Honestly, our main deck is pretty well set up here, right? Like, we've got Ranger for Giant Killer. We've got Kudro sacrifices humans to destroy something. I think we honestly just, like, trim the dire tactics, bring in the Reidanes, call it a day. Easy mulligan here, obviously. This is not amazing, but it's a keep. Morning, Sev. And again, it really just can't be overstated how good this card is for the creativity deck against creature decks. Like, just truly absurd how strong of an effect this is. So I get to grab the Unholy Heat here, and then obviously they'll make more hard evidence, but then I get to go land Reidane here now. So now this costs 6 to combo, and I have 3 power in the air. And then next turn we'll get to drop a Thalia, so this will cost 7 to combo. I think I'd rather get this down because it allows us to start attacking through the crabs rather than the Thalia. Ah, Ranger-Captain. So nice. We'll draw it twice. Hey, thanks for that 33 months, dude. Light, welcome back. Good morning, good morning. But Champ is still bad. I have nothing but sadness. Thanks for the tier 3, Socio. I appreciate the 38 months. Machamp is kind of bad. You're not wrong. So if I don't get Thalia down this turn, they can combo me next turn. So I think we need to get Thalia down. Even then, our clock's just so slow here. The good news with them sacking all their clues here is if they do something like Anger of the Gods, they lose their crabs as well. And they should all just evolve 1 level earlier. Huh. That'd probably be an okay buff. Yikes. And again, like, look here, right? Like, their crab is so good, it just gets to block Thalia. So now they get to wait until end of turn to Unholy Heat me. So they can untap and do the thing. And now, I have Giant Killer here to kill an Emissary. But if they give an untapped land here, they get to just turn 2 crabs into 2 emissaries. Yeah, and they're just chilling, right? So they can get one emissary, but they know that that's not good enough because of the giant killer. Yeah, and we're super dead to the shark typhoon. And it feels, it speaks volumes to the creativity deck that I am really happy that Jeskai Control is the best deck in Historic, because Jeskai Creativity is so much worse to play against as a creature deck. There's way less counterplay. For people that haven't been keeping up on Historic, both Jeskai Creativity and regular Jeskai Control were popular to start the format. And both of these decks beat up on creature decks to a degree, but Creativity is more polarized against creature decks, and Jeskai Control is ahead against Jeskai Creativity. So while Creativity still exists, like we're playing against here, obviously, it's less popular than Jeskai Control on the ladder because Creativity is a dog to control, and it's the most popular deck. Your 34-month timeout, of course, Wolfwood. Good morning. Straw. I was gonna just Lieutenant on 2, but happy to do this now. Counter target creature spell. Get a 2/2 zombie token with Decayed. Oh, that's cute. Five color Niv is decent in this format. Yeah, five color Niv is the type of deck you want to be playing. Very, very powerful, proactive linear deck. And then I just have to pass here because they have an Anger of the Gods. Just get to buy infinite time. Yeah, we're not particularly good at drawing collecting up, that's definitely true. Yeah, if that resolved, I was gonna Ranger for Sentinel and then sack it so they couldn't anger me next turn. I don't know why it never hit me before now, but I don't give Jeff enough credit for doing a job. Frustrations with coworkers, senior management, technology challenges, customers who can be terrible. I knew Jeff worked hard, but a lot of these are the same challenges we deal with at work. Yeah. Honestly, most self-employed jobs aren't that different than what I do here, right? I think most people who are self-employed deal with a lot of the multiple hats that go into what I do. Okay, and then I think we have to do this here because I don't want them to anger me this turn. And then honestly, ideally, we draw a untapped land next turn, and we get to go Lieutenant, Lieutenant, Lieutenant to get these out of anger range. B-Mick! Thanks for the 47 months. Welcome back. Why are people upset with Chris Pratt being Mario? Can someone explain? Yeah, he's great. If you're someone that plays Unite and you haven't caught his streams before, he's one of the best for a reason. Oh, man. I guess we'll just keep on keeping on. Well, they don't have another sweeper, I guess. I'd take memory lapse. I never beat this hand. I don't think we do. May have gone 0-2 at the open, but I'm 3-0 in channel years. It's a little sad to hear that Chris Pratt's a shitty human. The people commenting on that, I was not aware of that situation. I'm just familiar with him from Parks and Rec and his Marvel stuff. Well, it's also very possible that I was supposed to have taken the Sarah Emissary because they're so close to just casting it. Yep. We run into a lot of control. This might not be a very long set. We'll see. Hey, thanks for the 39 months, Roth. I wonder if your creature deck just has to have counter magic in it to play this format. So control decks feel good to play in this format. It's very possible that if we want to play creature decks, we need to stick to things like I said during the deck tech, right? Like this deck has so many good anti-control tools in the main deck, and that Jeskai deck just stuffed us in a trash can 2 of those 3 games, and they weren't particularly close. Like none of our decisions mattered. They just railed us. Do you ever play Pioneer? I've done a small amount of Pioneer content and found that it is not particularly popular. And honestly, after playing the format, that doesn't really surprise me because the gameplay of the format doesn't seem particularly compelling. Now, maybe, so here, actually, this could honestly be the problem with trying to play Historic, chat, is we win so much when we play Standard, we get close-ish to the top 1,000 people. If you're just playing Dumpster Historic and like the 70%, this format's probably fine. And then here's the flip side of this current deck that we're playing, which is our deck has a bunch of hedges for control, and we then lost to control anyways. So are we going to be a dog in this creature matchup now? I'd wager the answer to that's probably yes. We'll see. I mean, I'm actually interested to see how this goes. You know, like, obviously they're not one of the tier 1 creature decks, but can our deck with all these control hedges be competitive? Here's a real question we have to ask ourselves. Yeah, I mean, to set a low bar, Pioneer would be immensely more popular if you could play it on not Magic Online. The Pioneer's problem is Pioneer is a Zoomer format on a Boomer platform. Like, Modern's immensely popular on Magic Online and with Magic Online players and viewers because if you're willing to play Magic Online, generally speaking, you're heavily invested in the Magic ecosystem and have been for some time. Which, if those things are true about you, you're less likely to be interested in newer formats. Obviously, asterisk, some things, not always the same, exceptions exist. But in general, if you're willing to tolerate Magic Online, you're probably less willing to play new formats. Pretty far off of being able to chop anything down. Yeah, I retweeted something about the recount in Arizona. What was it? Trump lost like 100 votes in the Republican-led recount. I for one was shocked to hear it. This attack is really bad for my opponent. So I get to block like this and trade both their slivers for my 1/2. Trump lost 300, Biden gained 100. Sure. Personally, if the recounts didn't cost us so much money, I'd be all for doing them constantly because I never get tired of winning. Just so much winning, chat, being a liberal in the United States. First strike makes combat here a lot more awkward for us. Man, am I going to 2? I don't think I can go to 2, right? Because they have Leeching Sliver in exile. In case anyone was wondering how long it takes to go from Plat 4 to Diamond 4 with Gandalf, it's about 7 hours. God bless. And just doing this and then ship in. Man, those are terrible hits. It's our first time casting Collected Company with this deck, and it was awful, chat. Sounds about par for the course. Yeah, honestly, that should probably be the rule. If you want to demand a recount, you should be required to pay for it if the recount doesn't change the result of the election. That would provide some discouragement. All right, I think they were dead before we drew this, but they're definitely dead after. Yeah, like for frivolous lawsuits, basically. It's like the recall election that solidly failed in California. That cost the state like $500 million, right? The stat was like 600 million or something like that to run. Urethral Franklin, thanks for the follow. All right, so we won game 1 there, despite having a bunch of Esper Sentinels. That bodes well for us. I got Fatal Pushes, Skyclave Apparitions, Witch's Vengeance, and Extra Dire Tactics here. We'll cut Esper Sentinel and Kitesail Freebooter, bring in some anti-creature cards. Actually, I should probably trim a Thalia too here, huh? And when I board like this, I board down to 25 creatures, which makes Collected Company pretty bad. Yikes. Morning, Tactical Banana. Nah, that's not true at all, Zadi. If the Republican Party had to pay for it out of their donations, that gives them less money to run campaign ads the following cycle. Yeah, it would be great, Sotsu, if we had some more people that could play Lucario for 5 stacks. I'm going to play Lucario in the 5 stack. We're going to do this afternoon, but I'm not playing 5 stacks without Lucario this balance patch. Oh, Diffusion Sliver. Diffuse this. Witch is coming in with a vengeance, chat. Yeah, witch. I know they're really far off of it, but like with the Witch's Vengeance, I don't mind them slamming other things into place. I'm just gonna take their Collected Company. And then I'm actually gonna go ahead and offer this trade, because if they double block, we order this first, and then both their things die. Strange Journey. 10 subgifts is very generous. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. I think there's a lot of things they can do to him to keep him playable through Smith. I agree that he's a sweet Pokemon. He basically needs to not be able to 2v1 so easily. All right, I think I take this hit, and then we Witch's Vengeance 3 for 1. It's hard playing creature decks in this format, chat. Even the creature decks get to Wrath of Godju. The mobile release had a big balance change when Magus. Alright, so general here means they have to chump block. That's true, it wasn't Wrath of God, it was Plague Wind. I was actually talking with some of the people we've been 5-stacking with. I might do a Unite tournament at some point. They've been running a lot of community ones. Try and get a group together for it. You did. Pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. Poor meat hooks. You know, it's funny actually. I was looking through old historic decks we had played, and I came across Slivers, and I was like, should I play this again? And then I looked at what was going on in the format, and I was like, nah, I can't bring myself to do that. Hey, nice, Alec. Glad to hear the regional pricing is doing good things for folks. All right, 92%, so less of a chance they're on a control deck. That's actually, I think that'll be a fun metric to track today. We should track what's the lowest percentage someone playing a control deck is on against us today during our set. I'm curious to see what that metric would be. I'm gonna shock this in, so that way I can play Inspector and hold up Dire Tactics / Crack a Clue. Well, we did play against Just Guy Control first thing this morning. And they were a player who had a number, not a percentage. Any plans to add standard decks to my website? Nope. Adding decks to my website is an incredibly time-consuming and expensive process. So I have to pay for banner artwork. And the fact that standard rotates and changes so quickly means that it's just not worth the money to invest into that. Yeah, you can use Untapped. I mean, my YouTube channel is a great resource. There's a playlist up there of standard decks you can scroll through. So I'd highly recommend doing that. I have no idea what our opponent's deck is doing. They're not a Lurrus deck. They played red-black lands and a Nighthawk Scavenger. I feel like I'm going to cut Freebooter. It feels like there's probably more creature base than this is good. They could be doing something vampire-y. I probably won't be too sad to bring in Skyclave against most things. I'm not going to go hard and bring in the Fatal Pushes in the dark. I'm going to do just Skyclaves and Dire Tactics for now. Thanks for the 10 monks, Pixel. Yeah, the idea with putting non-rotating format decks on the website, like Historic, is that, like, even when the format changes, those decks still stay playable, right? Or playable. They're definitely still legal to play. So there's more of a guaranteed on my return on my investment and time spent putting into it. They could be Grixis missing blue because they're Bolas. Oh my god, they were Grixis missing blue with a Bolas avatar. That's so fucking funny. Just peak Grixis gameplay right there. That's so good. Oh my god, that's great. Hats off to Lucas on the called shot playing Grixis was missing a color with their keep game one. That's just chef's kiss perfect. Oh look, now they're missing red mana, chat. Top deck hero. Do 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 do. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. I think I'm actually happy with how I sideboarded. Like, I don't think I want to bring in Fatal Push, but I think having the extra tactics on the Skyclave seems fine here. It's 18 months, Gaffer. Now, So, one of the things that's important to acknowledge is that it's easy to look at that last game and be like, well, we flooded and there was nothing we could do. But you should give it more consideration than that. And what I mean by that is you should look at that last game and ask yourself, is our third color worth not getting to play utility lands? It's very easy just like looking, oh, I drew a lot of lands and there was nothing I could do. But remember, a lot of the most important decisions you make in games of Magic are made during deck building. And we've made a choice to play Collected Company as a source of card advantage / board presence, but this isn't free. Imagine if every green X dual land in this deck was instead a creature land or a utility land of some sort. How much stronger would our deck be if that was the case when we flood like that? Quite a bit, right? Hey, Sheriff. We should keep track of the highest percentage we see Grixis at. Big mood. Yo ho, chop. Chop the thing down. I'm actually going to go ahead and put a counter on Ranger-Captain here, because I think they probably want to kill Esper Sentinel as is. Nailed it, chat. Nailed it. Read them like a book. I will say that my favorite thing from watching stream over the years is I've now learned how to use a hypergeometric calculator, not to use it as a regular tool, but as a tool to know how unlucky I am. To be fair, it's a very quality unlucky check. I think I'm supposed to sack this. They don't lose the life, but now they don't get a... they don't get a what's it called either now? They don't get a 2/3 life linker. Waiting on the company plays around a sweeper. It also means if they play a creature like this, I can collect a company into Skyclave Apparition. Man, am I about to get, like, Spell Pierced or something silly? We're definitely taking that. I think it's just Esper Sentinel for the other one, huh? This way, if they want to play a 1-mana spell, they have to let me draw a card. Because they shocked, so they very clearly have like a Fatal Push or something then, right? If they didn't have a Spell Pierce. We just go Luminarch into Thalia here. And we'll double pump here so we can push forward through this 3/3. There's a part where they go Land Languish, and we curl up in a little ball and cry. Or Land Ritualist it. Well, I mean, Extinction Event at least leaves me an Esper Sentinel, so we got that going for us. All things considered, that could have gone much worse. There's an Epiphany deck in Historic? A standard. Is that good? It's probably pretty good against, like, the Chariot green piles that are going around. I don't know. And is it taking turns deck might be what we need to make the green mid-range less good. Alright. So they're not quite dead, but they are mostly dead. They're going to 1 here. I like how the thing shows -1 for a second there. All right, well. So far, we've lost to Jeskai and we've beaten all the other decks we played against. Arena's just doing its part to show you that damage doesn't kill you, state-based actions do. Harsh but fair. Well, so the person said you're fine with Is It Dragons coming back. I'm pretty sure it's not a Dragons deck. I'm pretty sure there's like a dedicated blue-red, like, play a card that copies your next spell, take multiple turns in a row with double Epiphany. It's like, I believe what's being referred to in chat. I'm gonna take their Spellbinder, and then I'm gonna power up my Spellbinder, encouraging them to take it with their Skyclave instead of my Luminarch. So 10 months up to ban. Alright, our Thalia puts us further off this company, but it means that we have decent blocks, which is great. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what Ifrit Flame Painter does. Could not tell you the text box on that card if I wanted to. Super happy to take this trade here because it unlocks my Collected Company. Honestly, it's probably more than a little bit of a mistake on my opponent's side to take that, offer that trade, given that they see green mana out of me. Would Champion of the Parish be too good for this format? No, I don't think so. In fact, quite the opposite. I think it would probably be good for this format because it would give decks like this better counterplay against the Lightning, Helix, Anger of the Gods decks. It's a threat you can play to get out of to deal 3 range pretty quickly. Alright, so any Lieutenant or Kudro is lethal here. We got 7 looks, 6 more. Collected Company has really been kind of mediocre in today's set. If I attack with this, they just block here, and I don't want to trade my 5/5 for their 3/4, so we'll just chill for now. So, I don't actually think Aether Vial is that good in Historic right now. And I've talked about wanting Aether Vial, but the problem is the control decks in Historic already play Archmage's Charm and Prismari Command in a lot of instances. So they have lots of main deck ways already to answer your Aether Vial. I genuinely don't think you could print just a couple of cards into this format to change Control's dominance. I think it needs, in order to change Jeskai from being what it is, it needs bans. We need Bloodbeard. That's definitely a tick. Okay, so this means I have lethal next turn, right? Rats. So I just cast Giant Killer now, right? And then we technically have lethal on board again for next turn, so we can diddle a 3/1 and attack with 2 flyers. So they can use this, but then... Oh, there's no Thalia in play. Shit. I guess them being forced to use their Giant Killer to kill this was killing the Lieutenant lethal, was it? 6, 7, 8. Oh, it totally was. Yeah, we both had exactly 8. That's a good catch. Yeah, I didn't math the fact that they were at exactly 1. Rule spell deck. Okay. I'm cutting my Thalias because Thalia's much better against me than it is against them. Fatal Push, Dire Tactics, Skyclave, all in, obviously. Are we supposed to board this in as a break glass in case of emergency button? Use violence. Reidane gets their lands. That's not really good enough, I don't think. Reidane might be okay as a flyer. Yeah, I mean, just having, like, a reset button is fine. Also, like, a lot of these humans have secondary creature types, too. So there's a good chance, like, worst case scenario, we can use Witch's Vengeance as a... Oh, yeah, and actually, it's great here, right? So we just, like, go tap land, and then we can 2-for-1 this next turn. He says before he gets Thalia's Lieutenant in. My body is ready for this to be a 4/4. Punished. Giant killer here. Morning bread. So we tactics the Spellbinder, we take a hit, we vengeance. Okay, and then this is lethal because they're gonna have enough things that don't die to Witch's Vengeance. Double Skyclave on the play is probably pretty good. Anything on the play, lands and spells on the play is probably pretty good. We only need single green for Collect a Company, and we need lots of white, so we have green off of this. Score beat, and Josu, thanks for the follows. I'm just gonna keep their board super small. What are some of the strategies that Magic Arena is talking about that prefer being on the draw? Generally speaking, when you want to tank your win percentage, you choose to be on the draw. One of the lesser explored strategies. Nah, not even Dredge. Like, specifically Manaless Dredge in Legacy, but even that isn't, like, Manaless Dredge isn't a good deck. Does it smell like Giant Killer to anybody else? Okay. Alright, I'm just gonna guess this. I didn't cast it pre-combat because I wasn't sure. I didn't want to put this to 4 if they had a Giant Killer. They could also have a Giant Killer, but hopefully I just, like, play a blocker, we Skyclave, and then we kill them. These have been wildly swinging games. Yeah, the aggro matchups in this format seem to be, a little This format has, it's It's a lot of linear racing for the decks that are good. It's control decks and it's decks that are looking to race. I put this to 4 so that way if they had another one of these like they do, they can't trade with this and get another token. Neither of these second 2 games were particularly interesting. Just like ran the opponent over. Yeah, Untap might be having some bandwidth issues this morning. Double checked and it's loaded on my end. Would you rather be on the draw or win? Yeah. Yeah. Might be right to mulligan this. I don't have a 2-drop, but I don't have a green source. Drawing a non-green land is just the absolute worst draw in our deck. I am incredibly surprised that this is a username that Magic Arena allows to have. Anybody who has a minute and feels like doing so, want to go report my opponent's username to WotC. I'm pretty sure this is a username they'll get rid of. It's not appropriate. It's the 8 months, Alec. Welcome back. Wow, Mizzix's Mastery is actually really good with Smoldering Egg, huh? How do you report it? You have to, like, go to a Wizard's website and file a ticket. Oh, it is mana spent. You're right. You're totally right. Why did they shock? There's no reason for them to bolt there, right? Display of dominance. I mean, their hand was face up. Yeah, they probably forgot their hand was face up as the answer. Okay, so they're going to kill a Spellbinder, but then we're going to get to attack for 10. But if you overload Mastery, it'll flip Egg. Yeah, I guess. If you overload Mastery, you probably win the game anyways, right? Yeah, what Danny said there. So Twitch doesn't let this thing go away if you don't say it doesn't, Alec. Oh, I guess. Oh, this was a mistake. So we're going to deal a total of 6 damage here. Does these trigger on that, right? Yeah, I should have sacked Ranger-Captain in response. I guess they're only killing Kudro. That's fine. They're dead to the giant killer, right? Known information. Dire Tactics, great against O4 eggs. This card's great against those two, right? Because even once they flip over, they still only have a converted mana cost of 2. No, Historic is exactly what it was before Midnight Hunt. Draw it, rest in peace. No, I don't intend to give Blizzard any of my time or money. I think push as well is probably overboarding. Like I'm looking at this and I already kind of have 64 cards that I want a bit. I think 6 removal spells is probably plenty. I think rest in peace for just mastery is not good enough. Alright, at least next turn we can Kitesail into Dire Tactics. Look, there's a ton of people that grew up playing a ton of Blizzard games and have an emotional attachment to Diablo, and I'm not going to harass anyone for playing stuff that they enjoy because no ethical consumption under capitalism and all that, but I don't enjoy any of Blizzard's games enough to be like, oh, I'm hurting if I choose to not play them. I'd rather play the wealth of other games out there I enjoy as much or more. Also, if I'm being... Well, shit. Also, if I'm being somewhat honest, the type of game that Diablo isn't really a game that I like, type of game that I like super enjoy anymore as an adult gamer. Like the core gameplay loop of Diablo is basically grinding for loot boxes, right? It's actually kind of funny to me in a way how many people talk about like anti-consumer stuff and like pay to win. Like, it's weird to me that we view games where you spend money to get loot boxes as pay to win, but like the culture of like Diablo grinding for gear wasn't viewed that way, right? Because they're two sides of the same coin. So I'm putting the anger under the Kitesail explicitly because I want them to not be able to cycle the one that they get back last. All right, disruptive hate bears, I choose you. Span Dragons chat. they had untapped land here, we're probably in trouble. Yeah, sometimes lucky. Who's got 2 thumbs and isn't playing around a sweeper? This guy right here. They have a piece of spot removal for Kitesail Freebooter. We just get shoved in a box. I cannot believe they didn't kill the Kitesail, right? If they kill the Kitesail, they just get the anger back. Oh, I guess I get to cast this one out of the exile now, right? Alright, I'm gonna play this because I get to draw a card when they clear my board now. And, like, honestly, just to, like, kind of highlight the format, right? Like, our opponent, like, every matchup we have played today has been a deck with sweepers or creature tribal. Like, those are the two. You do one of these 2 things in this format or you walk away feeling bad. Like, even the brews, right? Like, our deck is, neither of these decks are established decks, but they both fit into one of those 2 veins. You do one of these 2 things or you're gonna have a bad time. That's correct. That was also another game where Collected Company was mediocre and a creature land would have been stellar. Likely win that game with a creature land. It might be fair to say there's a 3rd class application of deck where you play like an aggressive deck that has counter spells, but even those tend to board sweepers. I'm excited to miss my 3rd land drop, get memory lapse, and then guarantee to miss it again the following turn. Because the creatures are somewhat exchangeable. No, our creatures do different things in this deck. I'm just not a big fan of Collected Company in this archetype because a lot of our creatures, what's the word that I'm searching for? A lot of our creatures cost less than 3 mana. So when you're if your Collected Company isn't getting you 5+ mana worth of creatures, it's not generating tempo. And if it's not generating tempo, it's probably not good enough. I think we just continue to stack Thalia's Lieutenants into play here so we can get things that are outside of 3 toughness. No, I don't think so. Full effect. Okay, if they have 2 1-mana spells, they can flip this egg and then shoot something, but then I've still got 2 giant creatures and I've got a Skyclave, so let's go. Is Coco different in Elves due to the synergy or no? Collected Company is different in Elves because, in Elves, you're not splashing for it. Also, Elves has a lot of really high impact creatures that you're looking specifically for, and past all of that, Elves isn't very good. Like, I know Elves is popular in best of 1 and people feel bad when they get snowballed by it, but like, Elves is, like, I described this format as decks full of sweepers. Like, Elves isn't good into decks full of sweepers, which is a significant chunk of this format. Let's jam one more here before we shift to standard, but feel like the Collected Company. We played some Black-White Humans on stream at some point, and I feel like that's where I'd rather be in Historic. I don't know what Bereaved Survivor does, so I'm going to assume it's not a playable card. Let's look up the text. They get in a free point of damage because there's no way they take this trade. No, that's a 3-mana card. That's a 3-mana 2-1. Alright, so our opponent has had close to their best start possible with double Champion of the Perished. So I assume we're going to die pretty handily here. Chop Down's a good draw. Yeah, Elves is a good example of those best of 1 decks that just don't translate to best of 3. Ooh, deal. Wait, they didn't play anything. Why didn't they pay 1? Everything okay over there, opponent? Yeah, maybe they have push and they forgot Thalia was in play. This is Champion of the Perished, not Champion of the Parish. This is Zombie Champion of the Parish that was released in Innistrad. Yeah, it's a throwback. I think we're dead, fam. That's fine. Like I said, our deck is skewed incredibly game 1 to hedge non-creature matchups, so we're behind in the creature matchups to start. We got a bunch of removal to bring in. Hey, Joss, thanks for the brand new Prime. There's a ton of great people you could send that to every single month. Thanks for sending it this way. To my cringiest Twitch streamer, I don't know about that. I've never licked this microphone here in front of me that I just poked with my finger. So maybe not quite the cringiest. I could start licking it if you'd prefer, though. Would that get me more subs? I did just poke it with my finger. What's the price to lick the microphone? All right, yeah, sure. Let's do it. Poking the microphone is the first step. It actually wasn't very loud when I poked it, which was nice. I'm glad I didn't pop anybody's eardrums. Like a mosh, thank you for the almost 3 years. Welcome back. No blocks. So they're gonna get to draw a card with the Script Breaker now, but I think that's fine. I think I just want to advance my board so I have more pressure in play when I eventually Witch's Vengeance. Hopefully they attack here. Yeah, this hit for 6 here is great for us because it means that the Script Breaker never drew a card before it died. Goodbye, friends. The fact that even our tribal deck gets to play a sweeper is so stupid. Just complete and utter nonsense. Yikes. I don't know that we can beat that one. Okay, so it's time for the general and the spellbinder to take one for the team. If they draw the land next turn, I get a little bit sad here, but just having Death Touch seems not great for us. Hey, Admain, thank you for the 53 months. Welcome back. They brick on a land here. They're pretty dead. That's pretty good. Yeah, we're in a little bit of trouble here. Need a high impact draw, he says, before drawing an Esper Sentinel. Really needed a Lieutenant or a Kudro there. Now we can't quite Abyss them because I only have a 5/5. Oh, I'm dumb. This costs 3. Push this till after my thing dies. Yeah, I don't know. This is just like another game where if I had creature lands, we'd win, right? Like, I never drew Collected Company, and if both of these were utility lands, I'd be winning the game and it wouldn't be close. I can push the token to make my thing live. Yeah, maybe that's better. Okay. We're in Cave or Castle Ardenvale. Probably Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Oh, I'm dead to the Crippling Fear. Right. I mean, we're still just dead. Like, sacking to make the Crippling Fear not happen isn't a winning line. I should just concede the game is what I should do. Yeah, so that last game especially, really, like, I was already leaning towards it, but, like, I really did not like this deck list compared to the non-company humans list that we played. So not only did the green splash cost us the ability to play utility lands, but the lack of 3-drop density meant that our collected companies on average were just really whelming. I think do I have black-white humans in here still? I feel like I looked at that the other day. Did I delete it when I was looking at it? Black-white shadow. I must have deleted it. Look back on my YouTube. Was it? Oh, it is here. Yeah, this. We played black-white humans towards after the core of it came out, and yeah, we had 3 Cave of the Frost Dragon as a utility land. Like you play less lands and you play a utility land, and just, you know, you lean into the being more aggressive with the cheap 1-drops. You don't have this random extra splash. You take less damage from your mana. So yeah, I greatly preferred this build to this. And not only that, but like this build that we played today had, like, you know, it's like main decking Kitesail Freebooter to extra hedge the control deck, and then like one of our only losses in that set was to Jeskai anyways, because even when you hedge the Jeskai matchup, our deck still ends up being a dumpster fire into the control deck. So yeah, rough. I mean, collected company's not unplayable in the format. It just doesn't feel worth splashing for in this deck specifically.